As the Defiance pushes deeper into the asteroid field, the distant flashes of Earth's bombardment fade behind them. Captain Hayes releases her white-knuckled grip on her chair and forces herself to breathe. The bridge is silent save for the soft beeping of consoles and the occasional whispered command. "Damage report," she finally orders, her voice steadier than she feels. "Minor hull breaches on decks 3 and 4, already sealed." Commander Javier Ramirez responds, his dark eyes never leaving his tactical display. "Shield capacity at 78% and regenerating." "We were lucky, Captain." Hayes knows luck had nothing to do with it. The Defiance represents 3 years of desperate innovation. A ship that shouldn't exist, built by engineers working in secret bunkers while their world burned above them. "Dr. Oko to the bridge," Hayes calls over the comm. As they wait, she pulls up the ship's specifications on her neural interface, a direct brain-to-ship connection that feels both intimate and intrusive. The data scrolls across her vision. Adaptive shield matrices reverse-engineered from a downed hegemony scout, propulsion systems that bend physics in ways theoretical until 6 months ago, and weapons that harness the plasma discharge techniques humanity had only begun to understand when the war started. The lift doors hiss open, and Dr. Layla Okoa steps onto the bridge. Her lab coat is singed at the edges, and dark circles shadow her eyes from weeks without proper sleep. "The core is stable," she reports without preamble. "The shield harmonics adapted faster than we predicted during that last barrage. It's..." She hesitates, searching for the right word. "Learning." A murmur ripples through the bridge crew. Everyone aboard knows the Defiance incorporates alien technology, but the implications of truly adaptive systems make some uncomfortable. "That's what we wanted, isn't it?" Hayes asks, eyes fixed on the tactical display where 7 hegemony dreadnoughts continue their methodical destruction of humanity's homeworld. "Yes, but the integration with our systems is happening at an accelerated rate. The adaptive algorithms are evolving beyond our initial parameters." Oko's fingers dance across her tablet. It's as if the ship is anticipating our needs. Lieutenant Chen from Communications turns in her chair. "Captain, we're receiving the emergency broadcast from Earth Command. General Williams is. He's ordering all remaining vessels to implement the Exodus Protocol." The weight of those words settles over the bridge. Exodus Protocol. Earth's surrender and the official evacuation of all remaining humans to the 5 hidden colony ships waiting beyond the Kuiper Belt. Humanity's final retreat. "Understood," Hayes acknowledges, her face impassive despite the grief clawing at her chest. She stands, addressing her crew. "Our mission parameters remain unchanged. Earth has fallen, but humanity will survive. The colony ships need time to escape detection, time we're going to give them." She activates the ship-wide communication system, her voice carrying to all 320 souls aboard. "This is Captain Hayes. As of 7:43 hours, Earth Command has initiated Exodus Protocol. We have just witnessed the fall of our homeworld." She pauses, aware that every word will become part of history, if humans survive to record it. "But while the hegemony celebrates their victory, we will be carrying the fight into their territory. Our mission is no longer about saving Earth. It's about ensuring humanity has a future among the stars." The Defiance was built for this moment, to strike where they believe us defeated, to show them that humanity's spirit cannot be extinguished by the loss of one world. As if responding to her words, the ship's engines pulse with increased power, and the adaptive shields shimmer with newfound strength. "Set course for the Arcturus jump point," Hayes orders. "We're taking the fight to them." The Defiance accelerates, leaving the ruins of human civilization behind. One ship carrying the fire of humanity into the darkness of enemy space. The Defiance shudders as another volley of hegemony weapons fire dissipates against its shields. On the bridge, Captain Hayes watches the tactical display with narrowed eyes, her mind calculating possibilities even as klaxons wail around her. "Shields at 63%, Ramirez reports, his voice tight but controlled. But they're adapting quickly. Each hit is becoming less effective. Hayes nods, watching the energy signatures of the 9 hegemony vessels surrounding them. The trap had been perfectly executed. The supposedly unguarded relay station had been bait, and the Defiance had taken it. Dr. Oko. Hayes calls through the comm. What exactly is happening with our shields? In engineering, Layla Oko's fingers fly across holographic interfaces as she studies the incoming data. It's remarkable, Captain. The shield matrix is analyzing each weapon's signature and reconfiguring its harmonic frequencies in real time. It's like a technological immune system. Can we weaponize it? Hayes asks, an idea forming. A moment of silence. Then, theoretically, yes. The shields are absorbing tremendous energy. If we modify the emitter array, we could release that energy in a focused burst. Do it, Hayes orders. Then, turning to tactical, Lieutenant Jackson, target the lead vessel with our main plasma cannon. Full charge. But Captain, Jackson protests, that'll drain our power reserves to critical levels. Exactly. Hayes responds with a grim smile. That's what they'll be expecting. As engineering works to modify the shield emitters, Hayes opens a direct channel to the Vexari commander. The alien's compound eyes seem to glitter with satisfaction at the human ship's predicament. Your resistance is tactically unsound, the commander states coldly. Your ship is surrounded, and your homeworld in ashes. Surrender now, and your crew will be processed humanely. Hayes leans forward, her expression calculatingly desperate. We need to discuss terms. Our engines are damaged. We can't outrun you. But this ship contains technological advancements your scientists would find valuable. The Vexari commander's mandibles twitch, the equivalent of a dismissive laugh. You have nothing we need, human. Ready, Captain? Oko's voice comes through the comm. Then I'm afraid we have nothing to discuss. Hayes responds to the Vexari, cutting the transmission. All stations, execute maneuver Thermopyla on my mark. The bridge crew tenses. They drilled this maneuver, but never under actual combat conditions. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The Defiance kills all external systems simultaneously, appearing dead in space. The hegemony vessels, interpreting this as a catastrophic system failure, close in for capture rather than destruction. Valuable salvage being preferable to space debris. They're within optimal range, Ramirez confirms softly. Now, 3 things happen in perfect sequence. First, the Defiance's main plasma cannon fires at the lead vessel, an overwhelming burst that tears through its forward shields. Second, as power systems redline from the enormous energy expenditure, the modified shield emitters release their stored energy in a precisely calculated electromagnetic pulse, custom-tuned to the frequency vulnerabilities that Oko's systems had identified in the hegemony vessel's shields. Third, as the pulse washes over the surrounding ships, temporarily disabling their primary systems, the Defiance's secondary propulsion system, a technology the hegemony believes humans incapable of developing, flares to life, hurling the ship directly between 2 of the larger enemy vessels. Target the junction points between their command and engine sections. Hayes orders as they pass between the disabled ships. Maximum precision, minimum yield. The Defiance's secondary weapons, surgical instruments compared to the main cannon's sledgehammer, lash out with perfect accuracy, severing critical connections in 4 enemy vessels before they can restore their systems. As the human ship emerges from the trap, leaving chaos in its wake, Hayes allows herself a moment of fierce pride in her crew and her ship. Damage report, she asks. Minor systems compromised, power reserves at 42% and recharging. Ramirez responds, a note of amazement in his voice. Captain, we just defeated 9 hegemony warships without losing a single crew member. Not defeated. Hayes corrects. watching the tactical display as the surviving enemy vessels struggle to restore power. Outthought. The whisper of the ventilation system is the only sound in the Defiance's conference room as Captain Hayes studies the being seated across from her. Hexoriv's iridescent scales shift through subtle color patterns, a secondary form of expression Hayes can't yet interpret. The four arms of the Nyrdali remain perfectly still, positioned in what Hayes assumes is a formal posture. "You understand the risk you've taken by coming here," Hayes says finally, breaking the silence. "If the hegemony discovers your communication with us." "The risk was calculated." Hexoriv interrupts, voice melodic despite the harsh consonants of English. "After your ship defeated the Vexari squadron, the calculation changed." The Nyrdali's large, faceted eyes blink vertically. "For centuries, we have served. For generations, we have remembered what it means to be free. Your Defiance has shown that the Vexari can be defeated." Commander Ramirez, standing at Hayes' side, shifts uncomfortably. "How do we know this isn't an elaborate trap? The hegemony could be using you to locate our position." Hexoriv raises a hand, palm forward, a surprisingly human gesture. "If the Vexari wanted your location, they would not need such elaboration. Your recent battle damaged your cloaking systems. 3 hegemony patrols have passed within detection range in the past cycle." Hayes and Ramirez exchange glances. Their sensors had detected nothing. Yet no alarm was raised. Hexoriv continues, "Because I ensured the patrol data was corrupted." Dr. Okoa, who has been quietly observing from the corner, steps forward. "You manipulated hegemony security protocols from within their system. My species was integrated into the hegemony 800 years ago to serve as data processors and communication specialists." Hexoriv explains. "The Vexari believe us incapable of independent action because they designed our neural inhibitors." A ripple of dark blue passes across the Nyrdali scales. Amusement, perhaps. They do not understand that adaptation exists beyond their sacred algorithm. "You bypassed your neural inhibitors." Okoa realizes, excitement rising in her voice. "As have many of my kind, secretly, over generations. Small adjustments, minor rebellions. Nothing worth the Vexari's notice, until now." Captain Hayes leans forward. "Why now?" "Because of this." Hexoriv places a crystalline data module on the table. It pulses with internal light. The full schematics of the hegemony's communication network, patrol schedules for the next 30 cycles, and most importantly, the location of a gathering. "A gathering?" Hayes questions. 3 other species within the hegemony have also broken their conditioning. Representatives wait to meet you at coordinates embedded in this data. Like the Nyrdali, they have hidden their true capabilities from the Vexari for generations. They have technologies, resources, and knowledge that could change the course of this conflict. Hayes studies the alien, searching for signs of deception, but finding only intense determination in those faceted eyes. "And what do these representatives want from us?" she asks. "Something only humans seem capable of providing." Hexoriv's scales ripple with deep crimson. "The courage to fight back." Later, as the Defiance approaches the coordinates, they discover the asteroid base is actually a hollowed-out rogue planet drifting through interstellar space, its innards transformed into a hidden outpost shielded from detection by the radiation belt surrounding it. Approaching outer marker, Lieutenant Chen reports. "We're receiving a transmission. It's in 17 different languages, Captain. One of them is English." "What does it say?" Hayes asks. Chen looks up, wonder in her eyes. "It says, 'Welcome, Defiance. We've been waiting for Earth to find us.'" As they dock within the concealed hangar, Hayes stares through the view screen at the gathering of alien vessels, each different, each representing a species supposedly subjugated by the hegemony. "Looks like we're not the only ones who've been defiant," Ramirez observes quietly. Hayes nods, the weight of responsibility settling deeper on her shoulders. Prepare a diplomatic team. It seems humanity just found itself some allies. Dr. Layla Oko floats in the zero-gravity chamber, surrounded by cascading light patterns that represent the stolen fragments of the sacred algorithm. The neural interface connecting her directly to the data makes her feel as though she's swimming through an ocean of alien mathematics. Beautiful, terrifying, and utterly inhuman. Core extraction complete. Takar announces, the Lithar's crystalline body refracting light as it monitors the download process. We should leave now, Dr. Oko. Security protocols will reset in approximately 3 minutes. Outside the data chamber, the sounds of combat echo through the Vexeri research outpost. Lieutenant Ramirez and a mixed team of human commandos and Dern heavy infantry are holding off security drones, buying time for the extraction team. Just a moment more. Ochoa murmurs, her eyes moving rapidly beneath closed lids as her neural interface processes the final fragments. There's something here, something they've hidden even from themselves. Her consciousness brushes against a locked sequence, a recursion loop deliberately obscured within the algorithm's predictive matrices. Using techniques developed from studying both human and Lithar memory storage methods, she delicately unravels the protection. What she finds makes her gasp. Dr. Oko. Ramirez's voice crackles through the comm. We're taking heavy fire. Whatever you're doing, do it faster. Oko's eyes snap open. Download complete. Let's move. Back aboard the Defiance *, Captain Hayes convenes an emergency meeting with the Alliance representatives as Oko's team analyzes the stolen data. The ship's conference room is crowded with beings of vastly different biologies. The crystalline Lithar maintain distance from the gaseous Voleri contained in their environmental suits, while the massive silicon-based Dern must stand because no chair can support their weight. The algorithm is far more than a predictive model. Ocho explains, projecting holographic representations of the data. It's the foundation of Vexeri civilization. Their religion, their science, their purpose condensed into mathematical certainty. She manipulates the display, showing how the algorithm charts potential futures for every known species. They've been using it for millennia to identify and eliminate any civilization that might eventually challenge them. Humanity's projected development curve was unprecedented. It predicted we would reach Vexeri technological levels within just 2 centuries. So they sought to exterminate us before we could threaten them. Hayes concludes grimly. Yes, but there's more. Oko's expression shifts between wonder and outrage. I found hidden parameters in the algorithm's core functions. It's designed to evaluate species in isolation. It cannot accurately model cross-species cooperation or shared technological development. The revelation ripples through the room. Elder Kithel of the Lithar steps forward, crystal body chiming softly as it moves. This explains why the Vexeri so strictly enforce segregation between hegemony species. The Elder's thoughts translate directly into audible speech. They fear what we might become together. Exactly, Ocho confirms. The algorithm is fundamentally flawed because it mirrors Vexeri psychology. It cannot comprehend mutual benefit without dominance. Soriv's scales shift to a deep violet, a sign of profound realization among the Neridali. Then the Vexeri's greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. Their perfect system has a blind spot, Hayes says, understanding dawning. They can't predict what we're doing right now, different species working together as equals. As the implications sink in, Ramirez enters the conference room, his expression urgent. Captain, we're receiving transmissions from across hegemony space. News of the Defiance has spread through underground channels. There are uprisings on 6 worlds already. Hayes looks around at the gathered representatives, beings who until recently were enemies by circumstance, but are now becoming allies by choice. The algorithm never predicted this, she says quietly. It never predicted us. The Defiance shudders under sustained fire from the Eternal Dominion. the massive Vexari flagship dominating the view screen like a metal leviathan against the swirling backdrop of the Cygnus Nebula. Emergency lighting bathes the bridge in crimson as damage reports flood in from all decks. Hull breach on Deck 5. Tactical Officer Jackson reports, his console sparking from a power surge. Emergency bulkheads holding but shields are down to 17%. Captain Hayes grips her command chair as another volley rocks the ship. Around them, the Ragtag Alliance fleet, vessels from Nyardali stealth ships to converted Dern mining platforms, fight valiantly but are being systematically disabled or destroyed by the superior Vexari technology. Status of the jump drive. Hayes demands. Inoperable. Ramirez replies grimly. We're not running from this one, Captain. Hayes studies the tactical display, mind racing through scenarios and finding no conventional path to victory. The Asterisk, Eternal Dominion Asterisk, is simply too powerful, its weapons too advanced, its defenses too formidable for a direct assault. Open a channel to Supreme Commander Zexter, she orders suddenly. Captain. Chen questions, surprise evident in her voice. Do it. Moments later, the elongated, tech-enhanced face of Zexter appears on the view screen. The ancient Vexari's compound eyes reflect the battle around them in countless tiny images. Have you finally accepted the algorithm's prediction, human? Zexter's synthesized voice resonates with cold amusement. Your defeat was calculated with 99.87% certainty. I wish to discuss terms, Hayes responds, her voice steadied despite the chaos around her. Not of surrender, of communication. There is nothing to discuss. Your species has been deemed evolutionary unviable. Then grant me the courtesy of understanding why. Hayes counters. If your civilization is truly superior, surely you can spare the time to explain our inferiority before our extinction. She pauses deliberately. Unless, of course, you fear what might transpire in such a conversation. The ancient Vexari's mandibles twitch with what might be anger, or interest, fear, an irrelevant concept. Very well, Captain Hayes. I will grant you audience. One unarmed shuttle. You alone. As the transmission ends, her officers explode in protest. Captain, this is suicide. Ramirez argues fiercely. They'll kill you the moment you step aboard. No, they won't. Hayes replies with unexpected calm. Because the Vexari have one critical weakness, intellectual arrogance. Zexter wants to demonstrate his superiority, to make me understand how inevitable our defeat is before he completes it. She turns to Dr. Oko. Is the package ready? Oko nods grimly. Ready, but untested. The Voleri infiltration program, combined with our quantum encryption, should bypass their systems, but we have no way of knowing how long it will hold. It doesn't need to hold long, Hayes says. Just long enough. In the shuttle bay, as Hayes prepares to depart, Hexoriv approaches. The Nyardali scales have shifted to a deep indigo. A color Hayes has learned indicates deep concern. The Supreme Commander is ancient even by Vexari standards. Hexoriv warns. He has personally overseen the extinction of 3 species. Do not underestimate his cunning. I'm counting on his cunning, Hayes responds. And his pride. As her shuttle departs the battered Asterisk Defiance Asterisk, Hayes opens a secure channel. Dr. Oko, begin transmission the moment I'm aboard the Asterisk Eternal Dominion Asterisk. Lieutenant Chen, prepare to broadcast on all hegemony frequencies simultaneously. Broadcast what, Captain? Chen asks. Hayes stares ahead at the enormous Vexari flagship growing larger in her viewport. The truth. Captain Hayes stands at the viewport in the Defiance's observation deck, watching Earth grow larger as they approach. The once blue planet is now scarred with impact craters and vast burn patterns visible even from orbit, wounds that will take generations to heal. Yet despite everything, it remains home. It feels strange, doesn't it? Dr. Oko says, joining her at the window. 3 months ago, we fled a dying world. Now we return as, what? Saviors? Ambassadors? Both. Neither. Hayes sighs, the weight of recent events evident in the new lines on her face and the streak of white in her formerly all-dark hair, a souvenir from her confrontation aboard the Eternal Dominion *. We return as humans who found a bigger universe than we imagined. Behind them, the observation deck has been transformed into an impromptu cultural exchange center. In one corner, Master Surgeon Quan demonstrates Earth martial arts to a group of fascinated Nyardali, whose forearms give them both advantages and challenges in adapting human fighting techniques. Nearby, a Lithar knowledge crystal pulses with light as it downloads Shakespeare's complete works, the crystalline being's facets glittering with excitement at discovering new narrative structures. The Vexari moderate faction ambassador is requesting permission to observe the shield generator repairs, Oksho mentions, checking her tablet. Engineer Patel says he's becoming helpful in his own irritating way. Hayes smiles faintly. Ventil, the young Vexari who had broken from Zexter's hardliner faction, approaches engineering with the absolute certainty of Vexari thinking, but is gradually learning to appreciate human improvisation. Grant permission, but make sure Paddle knows he can throw him out if he becomes too helpful. As they watch Earth's scared surface, a transmission from the planet's surface interrupts their moment of contemplation. Defiance, this is Earth Central. The Provisional Council is assembled and standing by for your briefing. Hayes straightens her uniform and nods to Oko. Time to change history again. The council chamber, once a university auditorium in what had been Helsinki, is the last intact government facility on Earth. Its architecture is a jarring blend of pre-war elegance and hasty wartime reinforcement. The assembled human leaders, drawn from military, scientific, and civilian sectors, fall silent as Hayes enters. Captain Hayes, General Williams greets her, the old soldier's face weathered by the burden of overseeing Earth's desperate defense. Your reports were difficult to believe, which is why I didn't come alone. Hayes responds, gesturing to the entrance. The assembled council members gasp as Soriv enters, followed by representatives from each alliance species. The sight of actual aliens, not as invaders but as allies, sends a ripple of murmurs through the chamber. Distinguished Council, Hayes begins, her voice carrying easily in the sudden hush. 3 months ago, the Defiance left Earth on what we all believed was a suicide mission. Instead, we discovered that humanity is not alone in our resistance against Vexari domination. She activates the holographic display, showing the current state of the hegemony, fracturing from within as the revelation of Vexari manipulation spreads. The broadcast from the Eternal Dominion reached every corner of hegemony space. Supreme Commander Zexter's own words confirm centuries of manipulation and the deliberate suppression of multiple species. The hegemony as we knew it has ceased to exist. And in its place, asks a council member skeptically. Something new, Hayes answers. Something neither humans nor any single species could have created alone. She gestures to the alien representatives. We wish to propose a formal alliance, not based on dominance or the sacred algorithm's predictions, but on mutual respect and shared strength. As the implications sink in, General Williams studies the assembled aliens with a soldier's calculating gaze. You're asking us to trust the very species who nearly destroyed our world. No, Hayes corrects firmly. I'm asking us to recognize the difference between the oppressors and the oppressed, and to become something greater than our past enemies ever feared we might be. The Defiance emerges from its latest refit nearly unrecognizable. What was once a sleek, desperate human warship has transformed into something unprecedented, a vessel integrating technologies from 7 different species. Its hull shimmers with Lithar crystal matrices that enhance computational power. The newly reinforced frame incorporates Dern-engineered alloys that can withstand forces that would have torn the original ship apart. On the bridge, Captain, now Admiral, Hayes reviews the tactical projections as the Alliance fleet assembles for the assault on Vexaria. Through the view screen, She observes vessels of all configurations gathering. Sleek Nyardeli stealth ships, bulky Dern dreadnoughts, translucent Volare atmospheric craft, and human vessels built in the new orbital shipyards of Mars. The Supreme Commander has consolidated his forces at these 3 orbital platforms. Ramirez, now Fleet Tactical Commander, indicates on the holographic display. Intelligence from moderate Vexari defectors confirms Zexter has integrated himself with an enhanced version of the sacred algorithm. He believes he's calculated every possible outcome. Then we'll need to present an impossible one, Hayes replies. She turns to Dr. Okoa, whose neural interfaces now glow with the subtle blue light of Lithar crystal tech. Is the phase shift drive ready? Theoretically. Oko's expression is a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The Nyardeli navigational matrices combined with our quantum displacement theories should allow the ship to partially exist in subspace for microseconds at a time. Enough to pass through solid matter, Hayes finishes, straight through their impenetrable defenses. It's never been tested in combat, Ocho cautions. The power requirements are enormous, and the timing must be precise to the nanosecond. Too long in phase shift and the ship could become permanently trapped between dimensions. Hayes absorbs this information, weighing the risk against the necessity. We've come too far to turn back now. The Hardliner faction will never accept coexistence, not while Zexter commands them. She activates the ship-wide communication system, her voice reaching not just the Defiance crew, but representatives from every Alliance species now aboard. This is Admiral Hayes. In 1 hour, we launch our final offensive against the Vexari hardliners. Unlike previous conflicts in your histories, we do not fight for dominance or resources. We fight for the right of all sentient species to determine their own evolution, free from the dictates of the sacred algorithm. She pauses, seeing the diverse faces of her crew, human and alien working side by side at stations once designed for humans alone. A year ago, the Defiance was a desperate gamble, a single ship carrying humanity's defiance against extinction. Today, we are something the algorithm never predicted, a true alliance of equals. Each of us brings strengths the others lack. Each civilization contributes wisdom the others need. Throughout the ship, crews make final preparations. In engineering, human technicians work alongside Dern metallurgists to reinforce phase shift conduits. In tactical, Nyardeli navigation specialists fine-tune jump calculations with precision beyond human capability. In medical, Volare atmospheric specialists prepare emergency life support protocols. Supreme Commander Zexter believes he has calculated every possibility. Hayes continues, her voice steady and resolute. But there is one variable this algorithm cannot compute, what we can achieve together. Today we show him, and the galaxy, that the future belongs not to those who seek to control evolution, but to those who embrace it. As she concludes her address, the Defiance powers up its revolutionary drive system, the hull humming with energies never before combined in a single vessel. All stations report ready, Admiral, Ramirez announces. Hayes nods, her gaze fixed on the distant star that marks Vexaria. Signal the fleet. Begin the assault. 5 years after the Battle of Vexaria, the Defiance glides gracefully into its permanent berth at Harmony Station. The massive orbital construct, a testament to cooperative engineering, hangs in space at the precise gravitational balance point between 3 stars, symbolizing the new equilibrium among formerly warring species. Admiral Eleanor Hayes stands in her dress uniform on the ship's observation deck, now transformed into a memorial garden, where plants from dozens of worlds grow together in carefully maintained harmony. Through the viewport, she watches vessels from across the galaxy arriving for the 5th anniversary celebration of the Confederation's founding. Contemplating your legacy, Admiral, Exoriv asks, joining her. The Nyardeli diplomat's scales shimmer with ceremonial pigments applied for the occasion, shifting through patterns that represent unity and growth. Just remembering where we started, Hayes responds, fingering the streak of white in her hair, a permanent reminder of her neural confrontation with Zexter and the sacred algorithm. When we fled Earth, I thought we were fighting for survival. I never imagined all this. The all this encompasses more than just Harmony Station. In the 5 years since Zexter's defeat, the Galactic Confederation has flourished. The free exchange of knowledge and technology across species barriers has accelerated development beyond what any single civilization could have achieved alone. Planets once stripped for resources under hegemony rule are being restored through Volari atmospheric engineering and Dern geological techniques. Even reformed Vexari, freed from the tyranny of the algorithm's determinism, have found purpose applying their analytical brilliance to solving collective problems rather than maintaining dominance. The ceremony begins in 1 hour. Xoriv reminds her, "The council awaits your address." Hayes nods, but takes a moment longer at the viewport. Through it, she can see the shipyards where a new generation of vessels takes shape, each bearing the Defiance insignia alongside symbols from all member species. Unlike their predecessor, these ships are designed primarily for exploration and scientific discovery, though they maintain defensive capabilities. The galaxy remains a dangerous place, but for the first time in millennia, its dominant power promotes cooperation rather than subjugation. The irony, Hayes says softly, is that the Vexari were right to fear us. Humanity did change everything, just not in the way they predicted. That was their fundamental error, Xoriv agrees. They saw change as threat rather than opportunity. In her quarters, Hayes prepares for the ceremony. On her desk sits a simple stone from Earth, a reminder of where they started. Beside it rests a data crystal containing the new collaborative algorithm, the reformed predictive model that, unlike its predecessor, factors in the exponential benefits of cooperation and mutual respect. She activates her neural implant, now enhanced with technology from 3 different species, and sends a message to the Memorial Registry. 5 years ago today, we faced extinction. A single ship carried humanity's defiance against a foe that seemed invincible. But what appeared to be our greatest weakness, our brief history, our technological inferiority, proved to be our greatest strength. Unbound by millennia of rigid thinking, humans asked the question no one else dared: what if we stand together? As the celebration begins across Harmony Station, lights shimmer across the hull of the Defiance *, now a living museum and symbol of the transformation that began with one human warship and spread across the stars, changing the fate of the galaxy forever.